Okay, so the subject is strategic business analysis, and the topic for this video is corporate strategy. So we have here an article from berniegroup.com, Good Corporate Strategy, Everything You Need to Know. So I'm going to divide this up into two videos. So the first one is about corporate strategy, and then the next video is a differentiation between corporate strategy, business strategy, and the so-called functional strategy. Okay, so for the first part, we have corporate strategy. By definition, it's a unique plan or framework that is long-term in nature, designed with an objective to gain a competitive advantage over other market participants while delivering both on customer, client, and stakeholder promises, i.e. shareholder value. Okay, so in a way, from the previous videos, we've been trying to define strategy quite a few times already. But for corporate strategy, so we have, long-term in nature, and then of course it's a plan or a framework. Okay, and then it has an objective of, I think we should note this one, gain a competitive advantage over other market participants. Okay, so you have to position yourself as either a leader or, get your own unique position in the market, right? And of course, for you to retain your customer base. Okay. And then while you are doing that, while you are trying to achieve that as a business, you also have to deliver both on customer, client, and stakeholder promises. Okay. So whatever you're saying your product or service is going to do or achieve for your customer, you should be able to deliver that. And then for your stakeholders, if you promised a certain, type of return, then you should give that. And then it's not only the investors that is a stakeholder, everyone that is somehow related or involved in the business operations, those are considered stakeholders, right? So you also have the employees, you have your partners or suppliers, you have your creditors, lenders, and of course you have your investors, you have your customers, and there's also the government and the community where your business is operating. Everyone is almost a stakeholder in a business, right? So you have to ensure that everyone is seeing you in a good light, and you're not doing anything illegal or unethical or unprofessional. Okay. And then another much simpler corporate strategy meaning is to see it as a set of decisions where a company would place its bets for the future. In a way, it's achieving the goals and objectives that you've set for the business. It's something that needs to be achieved in some future time, right? Given that every organization has a limited amount of resources, it needs to decide how it will prioritize the use of these resources. Okay, so in a way, strategize, make a plan on how you're going to utilize the resources to meet the goals and objectives of the business. Okay, in prior videos, we've already discussed the corporate objectives, right, or business objectives. Okay, so there are different types of corporate strategy. Though no two strategies are ever the same, corporate strategy can be classified into 4 different groups. Okay, these first two, if you notice, these are aligned with the corporate objectives or business objectives. So you have your growth strategy to achieve your growth objective, and then you have your stability strategy to achieve your stability objective. And then you also have retrenchment strategy. Later we'll be discussing this. And then the reinvention strategy. So here is an illustration. So essentially you have the corporate strategy, and then below it are the different types. So you have growth strategy, stability, retrenchment, and then reinvention. Okay, under the growth strategies, you have sub A, concentration, and then you have sub B, diversification. Under sub A, concentration, you have vertical integration, horizontal integration, and then cost leadership. Again, at the latter part of this article, it would be explained to us, and I would also be discussing them. And then for diversification, you have basis diversification, adjacent growth, and then conglomerate growth. For stability strategies, we have the status quo and profitability-driven strategy. Retrenchment, you have turnaround and then divestiture. For reinvention, we have evolutionary or revolutionary. All right. So overview of each of this strategy given in the illustration here. So we have for the growth strategies first. Growth strategies aim to achieve considerable business growth in the areas of revenue, market share, penetration, etc., among others. These can be achieved either through concentration, where the company is still focusing on its core business and builds it out, or through diversification, where a company decides to diversify based on a number of approaches that are described in detail below. Okay, so here you have your concentration, meaning they are focusing on what they currently have and then trying to improve that one way or another. And then the other type of strategy is diversification, wherein they try new things and then, try to see if they would have any type of growth from there. Okay. So concentration, if a company aspires to grow while remaining in the same space it is currently operating, this is a concentration growth strategy. Here it is important to distinguish between the few options. So you have vertical, and then you have horizontal integration. So kapag vertical integration, it's more on participating in more value-added activities. It's the same product, but you are trying to make improvements on it. Either you provide value-added activities, like let's say you add in additional benefits that it could provide, or additional functions that it can do, or you can improve the value chain. Let's say with regards to the supply chain, deliver of the materials being used to produce the products. Okay, and then with regards for the distribution, you can either improve the lead time, or you can also open other venue of distribution. Either you can have it in physical stores, you can also put it online. So in a way, that's vertical integration is the same product, you're trying to improve it with adding in value added activities. Okay, and then for horizontal integration, it's the same activities, let's say the same product line, everything that you're doing, you're just going to do it, all of it the same, but let's say you're going to introduce it to different areas, different geography, or different places, right? Vertical integration, they do have further explanation here. So let's see. Executing on more value chain steps than in the past, example, by being involved in distribution activities, supplier activities, etc. So an example, travel agent who gets licensed in order to not only sell travel packages but also receive commission from travel insurance sales. So a product that is often sold in tandem with travel packages. So essentially you're adding in some sort of rider or supplementary or complementary product to your product, right? So let's say here, you're a travel agent, travel agency, you sell travel packages, and in a way you can partner with a travel insurance company so that you can also, add in travel insurance in the package, okay? And then you get a certain amount of commission from there, additional revenue for the agency or for the agent, all right? Horizontal integration assumes expansion into other geographies and/or the offering of other products or services into the same market where the company already operates. So for example, the first one would be like putting up a new branch in another city or another location. And then the second type would be, let's say you're a financial institution, you have deposit, what do you call this? You have deposit products, right? Savings products, checking accounts. But then as a financial institution, you can also offer, let's say, insurance products. Of course, you have your loan products, credit cards, and anything that is somehow related to your core business, which you can also offer to your already current customer base. Okay, there's an example here, but pretty much the same, right? And then the second one, diversification under the growth strategy. So diversification is a very widespread type of strategy that may include aspiration of the company to grow based on changes in product service offering, introducing new products or services, or even moving into entirely new spaces. Okay, so it has something to do with the product. Either you're going to make improvements on it, or you're going to pair it up with other products, or you're going to introduce a completely new product or a completely different product line. All right. Basis diversification. A company preserves its current offering, so they have their existing, it remains there, but is able to differentiate its products or service from the other competitors by unique capabilities, features, or characteristics. In this case, a product or service value added in the eyes of a customer client is higher. As a rule, it justifies a higher price. Example, Apple. Okay. Cost leadership. Okay. Cost leadership is a special type of concentration strategy where a company is able to offer the same product or service at a more attractive price. Example is via superior, more cost-efficient operations. So for example, this can be seen with Mazda offering its more affordable vehicles that are competitive with other players in a higher price bracket in terms of quality and functionality, but at a lower price point. Essentially what they're trying to say is, they're trying to compete with the market leader, and then in terms of quality, they're trying to deliver the same quality that the market leaders are providing, but they are also offering it at a much lower price compared to the market leader. Okay, so cost leadership. Quality-wise, it's the same as the market leader. Cost-wise, they're offering it at a more affordable price. Okay, so that's why it's called cost leadership. And then we have adjacent growth. Exciting strategy space for any organization, often reliant on an organization feels that it has reached its limit in its core business. So you have your product line, or what they call core business, and then in this case a company explores opportunities to grow in a space related to its core business. It can be an additional product or service, adjacent industries, additional set of customers, etc. For adjacent strategies, it's important to identify the most promising adjacent niches or niche and attack them instead of boiling the ocean of potential opportunities. Okay? If an online platform has been comparing banking products and then decided to move into the comparison of insurance products, that would be an adjacent growth strategy because both of them are financial services. Okay, so you have your banking, you have your insurance products. Okay, essentially related products. So you have your core business, and then you're trying to think of providing a new product, but instead of going into a completely different business, you go to the related business. Okay, and now we have conglomerate growth. Conglomerate growth is the opposite of basis diversification. It means that an organization looks to expand into businesses which are not, or are but very loosely linked to its core. There are fewer synergies across such businesses, but nevertheless, this strategy has shown to be feasible for many companies. Ang example nito, mga group of companies. The good thing about conglomerate growth is that the businesses under the conglomerate is spread to various industries. So in case of a certain situation, you would see some of the businesses could be failing, but there are also businesses that are thriving. Okay, so for example, in this pandemic, some of the businesses that they own in the group of companies or in the conglomerate could be, facing a downturn, but then there are others that are earning more than ever. Okay, so essentially different types of businesses. Okay, let's say you have the group of companies. In the group of companies, there is a hospital, there's a school or a college or a university. Then there's also food manufacturing. There's also fast food chain, and then there's also what else? Let's say I ran out. Okay, hotel and restaurant, airline, banking, pharmacy. Okay, essentially, the group of companies is composed of businesses from different industries, okay, providing different types of products. Okay, so that's what we call a conglomerate. All right. But of course, there are also a group of companies na yun nga, more on here, adjacent growth, wherein ang ina-acquire lang nila is yung mga related na businesses. For example, Jollibee Foods Corporation, they do acquire different types of businesses, pero more on food related, right? They have Jollibee, Greenwich, Red Ribbon, Chowking, Mang Inasal, Burger King Philippines, and all these other food stores, okay? So that's more on here, adjacent growth, right? Hey. Okay, and then we go to the stability strategies. Okay. Stability strategies do not have growth and new business development in their focus, but rather are geared towards getting more out of the existing business. Okay? Kung ano yung meron, yan na yon. Okay? Tapos dalawa, no? Either profitability-driven strategy or stay as it is, or yung status quo na tinatawag. Because the current situation already works well for the organization. Okay? Unahin natin yung status quo. Kumbaga, eto na yon, wala nang gagalawin, right? So, eto often focus on maintaining the existing performance of a business. Okay lang na hindi mag-grow, hindi tumaas yung, performance in the sense of, tawag dito, revenue, customer base, or profitability. Basta ma-maintain lang yung percentage, ayos na. Huwag lang bababa. Kasi, stability ang hanap dito. Okay? Existing performance of a business and can include such elements as acquisition of potential companies that pose a threat to the existing business. Okay. Part nung sa status quo, syempre, for you to maintain, di ba, yung existing performance ng business, you also have to look at the competition. Kapag yung sa competition niya, let's say, may sumulpot na panibagong business, and they are eating up a share of the market. Let's say yung mga dati mong customer, napansin mo, parang umuunti yung customers natin, napunta na pala dito sa panibagong company or business na to. So, in that case, you have to have a plan or a strategy to ensure na yung current customer base mo is either ma-retain mo or yung mga umalis is mapalitan mo. Okay? That's still a status quo strategy. Okay? Stability strategy. Example natin dito siguro, if you would remember, I'm not sure kung anong year ito, pero I was still in college when it happened. Mang Inasal. Okay, when Mang Inasal became very popular, hindi masyadong nagtagal, siguro a few months pa lang ata siya, or I'm not sure kung inabot ng taon yung popularity niya, bigla na siyang in-acquire ng Jollibee Foods Corporation, right? Kasi, of course, bago yung Mang Inasal, but they're already attracting a lot of customers. I think, of course, kasi hindi siya fried, siya lang yung ihaw. And then, of course, you have your unlimited rice if you dine in. So, in a way, they did it up a portion of the market share. So, it's not exactly that Jollibee feel threatened, but I think it's part of their strategy to make sure yung mga promising na businesses, they can acquire it. They would acquire it as soon as possible. Okay, so during that time, syempre kung mas mabilis ka rin naman kasi magre-react or magre-respond to such a situation, gaya nung time na yon, in a way, medyo hindi pa ganun kataas yung value nung i-acquire mo na business, right? Unlike kung inintay pa nila yon na, let's say, 1 to 3 or 1 to 2 years, after 3 years, let's say, pinabayaan lang nila yung Mang Inasal, tapos, di ba, nakita nila na very successful talaga. If they acquire it very late, definitely yung magiging value niya, yung acquisition cost would be much higher. Okay? But, of course, Jollibee reacted quite quickly back then, so they benefited from that. Okay? But, of course, sila rin naman yung after acquiring, edi syempre sila rin naman yung nag-labor to ensure na magiging successful talaga itong si Mang Inasal din. Okay? So, ayun. Threat to the existing business, right? Okay, and then another, work with regulators to develop business entry barriers etc. The reasons to choose a status quo strategy can be varied. So, pwedeng already being very successful, not having opportunities for growth, or regulatory regulations. Okay? So, minsan may mga limits din, or they do not want to breach a certain bracket kasi pag nilampasan nila is, may mga additional regulations or something, or higher taxes probably, or, normally naman kasi yung, di ba yung sabi ko nga in earlier videos, yung growth strategies, when a company sees a growth, kailangan pantayan mo kasi yun yung growth mo in your sales. You have to ensure na yung production mo would meet the demand for you to provide that sales. And of course, with regards to production, you have to ensure that you have enough people, additional people to produce the additional products. And then you have to ensure na yun namang mga tao mo on the management level is able to coordinate all the other departments, all the departments in the business para mag-operate pa rin siya smoothly. Okay? Kasi kapag mayroong isa dyan na narattle, isa dyan na hindi nakasabay, or let's say medyo hindi nakasabay dun sa growth, so problema yun, naging problema. Okay, and then the next one, profitability driven. So although, stabilize or stable siya in a sense na ganun pa rin yung level of activity niya, but they can make improvements on the current operations. Okay? Kumbaga, yun na yung level ng production, yun na yung target sales nila, yun na rin yung customer base nila, but they can increase their profitability by, let's say, reducing the cost, making the operations more efficient, mga tipong ganon, okay? So, eto naman, linked to a desire to boost company evaluation. So, kumbaga, you're trying to increase the valuation of the company. Okay? Make it seem as if very valuable yung company. Syempre naman. Okay? Although, at stable operations ka. Ginagawa nila to, eto examples, prior to selling the business. Okay? Para syempre, mas mataas yung value. So, mas mataas yung cost of acquisition or yung price of sale, right? Before an initial public offering, so kapag i-offer siya sa stock exchange, so yung, let's say, starting price niya or IPO price niya could be pushed higher then, okay? Enterprise value in the focus of the strategy, okay? The variety of levers used for this strategy type spans across portfolio optimization, cost cutting, and pag binabaan mo yung cost, tataas yung profit, and then adjustment of pricing, either if you're looking at becoming a cost leader, and then ang gagawin niya doon is bababaan niya yung price ng product, but with the reduction in the price, there is an expectation of increase in volume, para yung total revenue is would remain the same, at the same level, kasi nga, stability, strategy, okay? Next, we have retrenchment strategies. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng retrenchment, okay? So, ito naman, almost the opposite of status quo or growth strategies. It is a defensive strategy where the main objective is to change the negative trajectory and improve the company's position, either through aggressive changes or cutting off the parts that pull it down. Okay, so dalawa. Turnaround saka divestiture. Itong turnaround, ang nangyari kasi, there is a dramatic change from the previous course of action. Example nito, mga bad decision, company mismanagement, loss of market share, shrinking industry. Okay, so it includes such measures as crisis management, financial restructuring of the company, revamping the company's product and servicing, aggressive cost-saving initiatives, and then aggressive cost-saving initiatives through, let's say, robotic process automation, employee retention, etc. In most cases, implementing a turnaround strategy is a heavy exercise for the entire organization that touches every single part of a company. Okay, example tayo. I don't see much of this here in the Philippines, pero let's say South Korea, right? If you're familiar with the current situation in their entertainment industry, either actors or actresses, and then mga idols, diba? Whenever there is a scandal, not exactly scandal, but normally a scandal kasi nila is like DUI, drinking under influence, driving under influence, tapos let's say yung mga bullying allegations, what else, rude behavior on the set or backstage, ganyan. Di ba kapag nagkakaroon sila ng mga ganong scandals or news articles, it impacts their career heavily. Okay? So in a way, siguro papasok siya dito sa due to a bad decision, company mismanagement. Kapag nangyari kasi yon normally in SK, in South Korea, mahirap ng baliktarin yung situation. Kapag hindi naman siya ganun kagrabe, let's say, rude behavior, tapos wala namang masyadong na-harm na tao. Let's say, one instance lang naman siya, hindi naman siya habitual. So, sometimes, di ba, apology, tapos break lang, go on hiatus, tapos after half a year or after a year, pwedeng bumalik pa. Okay, yung artist or yung idol. But in extreme cases, yung tipong habitual, yung naging behavior niya, rude behavior, tapos yung bullying allegations is proven true, tapos marami rin palang naging victims, ganyan. Medyo mahirap siyang i-revive yung career ng isang tao. But on the part of the company, of course, they have to clean that up para yung mga other artists under them, syempre, hindi maapektuhan yung mga deals and projects. Okay? So that they could continue to they could continue to operate as a company. Okay? Siguro for other types of businesses, let's say producers ng products, more on kapag merong defect, let's say isang particular line, 'di ba before yung cell phones na nag-explode or bigla na lang tawag doon, nag-aapoy yung batteries or something. Diba, they did a total recall on the product. So, hindi na nila, especially no medyo, naging frequent yung mga reports, hindi lang kasi siya isang beses nangyayari. There were several reports. So, what they did is they recalled the product, para ma-prevent na rin yung further cases like that. Okay? And then they did an investigation, and of course, they promised to do better, and they want to ensure the safety of everyone. So they did recall the products. I think there was also a car manufacturer that did the same. Nagkaroon ng mga, after nilang i-release yung particular model or make ng car, nagkaroon ng mga several reports na, na-involved sa accidents for some reason. Pag tinapakan ng brake, biglang nag-accelerate or things like that. And then, they also recalled the products. Kasi, although it would cost a lot to the company, kasi naman mas sira yung kanilang image, brand, and reputation, talaga namang let's suffer the loss instead of killing the brand or the reputation, right? So, yan, it's a turnaround strategy. Kapag merong hindi magandang nangyari, maling decision, so there's a strategy to overturn the negative effect or the negative impact. Okay? Let's say financial restructuring of the company. There was this cooperative na before the pandemic, they, they invested in real estate. I think nagpatayo ng hotel or something, right? Tapos, supposedly, mag-o-open or mag-o-operate. But then, the pandemic came out. Tapos, nag-announce ng mga lockdowns and such. Tapos, ang pinayagan lang mag-operate are yung mga essential businesses. So, anyway, yung balak nila na i-operate yung hotel is hindi natuloy. Okay, so in a sense, bad financial decision siya kasi na-stuck yung pera doon, hindi kumikita during the duration of the pandemic. Okay? So, what can they do para naman ma-recoup yung losses? Or in a sense, magkaroon man lang ng pasok dun sa business or dun sa company. Okay? A few days ago, I think, I saw this post may nag-share lang, nakita ko lang sa timeline, Sogo Hotel, I think. They are now, ang nakita ko kasi dun sa poster is like, VIP member work from home. Bali yung rooms nila, pwedeng gawing work from home setup if, kasi marami rin naman na naka-work from home setup pero hindi ganun kasi ka-convenient din magtrabaho kasi may ibang kasama sa bahay. Medyo minsan may ingay din or minsan hindi mo na alam or kumbaga nawawala yung separation nga ng personal life saka work life. So sometimes you really want to make sure na meron kang, separate workplace or separate na lugar kung saan ka magtatrabaho. So they turned their hotel into something like that, work from home setup. Right? And so, in a way, it's a good strategy. It's just that I'm not sure how much they're going to charge for that. Probably not the same rates that they charge nung sila ay hotel pa or in type ng accommodation. Okay? But it's, what do you call it? It's better than earning nothing, right? Kahit pa paano may pumapasok sa kanila na pera. And of course, providing employment to their employees. Okay? Ano pa ba ang mga nandito? So, aside from those, ayan. Okay, so yun yung sa turnaround, kumbaga hindi mo naman inabandon talaga yung product or yung service. It's just that there's something happened na naging negative yung impact. So, you have to turn that around, make it positive again, okay? Ito naman sa divestiture, ito yung, cut off. Getting rid of parts of a business for a number of reasons, such as decision to focus on the core businesses. When a business line does not fit into the overall business landscape, poor performance of certain business lines, let's say hindi naman sila profitable, either break-even lang or loss pa nga. So yun, drop the product line already. Attractive sale opportunities, etc. Okay? Divestiture strategies typically lead to lower complexity of the rest of the business and releasing a part of resources that can be reinvested into the business lines a company decides to keep. Okay, so if you're going to cut off a certain product line, yung mga resources na dating nilalaan nyo doon, so pwede nyo reinvest to other product lines. Okay? So, example nito, di ba yung Citigroup, dinrap nila yung kanilang consumer division. Na-retain lang nila yung kanilang corporate division. But I think recently I saw an article na I think BPI is considering buying the division that they're going to drop. Okay? So, again, may mga ganyang style, right? Although, again, it would depend on the business, the product, and what do you call this? Product, service, and the industry that they are operating on. Kung gaano kadali na i-drop yung isang product line or gaano kahirap. Okay? There are cases na hindi ganun kadaling i-drop ang isang unprofitable na business line. For example, schools, right? You have various departments, you have various programs, pero not all of it. There would come a time na not all of it would be profitable, but you can't simply stop offering a particular course to the students, right? Nahirap yung gawin. Okay? Kasi hindi mo rin naman alam kung kailan babalik yung demand for that particular course or program. So, what you can do is just to keep the program going, and yung mga profitable na programs, you would have to support those that are currently suffering. Okay? That's how it is in some industries, okay? And then lastly, we have reinvention strategies. Ito naman include taking the existing industries or businesses which have not changed for decades and reinventing them. Okay, often with the support of new technologies. Here one can distinguish between evolutionary strategies and revolutionary strategies. Okay? Ano bang kaibahan nila? Etong evolutionary, do not change the business model but strongly evolve the way service is delivered. So, it has something to do with the delivery. For example, dati physical store lang, ngayon meron na silang online. Okay? For example, yung dati, ganun nga. Dati sa mga stores ka lang pwedeng nakakabili, ngayon meron ng mga online platforms, right? Banking. Okay, dati ganun din. Punta ka dapat sa kanilang branches, pero ngayon you can do fund transfer, you can do withdrawals, not exactly withdrawals, fund transfers, and then payment, diba? Online payments through your mobile phone or through online, diba? Website nila. They can significantly change a company's product service because they unlock a new dimension of value for customers. An example of such a business would be Netflix, where the movies are delivered not as physical rentals, but through a digital subscription. Okay. Alright. Movies, there are, different ways that they are delivered. You have your cinemas, and then merong mga online platforms where they sign the deal kung na pwede nilang i-stream yung movies. But then also, I think some would have their own platforms kung saan pwedeng i-rent pa din naman. Pero again, digital. Hindi na yung physical na CDs or DVDs. Okay? I forgot the name of the store dati dyan sa SM. I think yung current na space for Bonchon. Di ba dati meron siyang seller ng DVDs, CDs and DVDs. Pero yun nga, nawala na kasi nga majority of the movies, majority of the music, they are now available online. Okay, you have your Netflix, you have your, Prime Video, you have your Hulu, and then for the music, of course, andyan na yung Spotify, you have your YouTube Music, you have YouTube. Okay, so nawalan ng, demand for the physical CDs and DVDs. Although, there are still, sales of CDs and DVDs, pero hindi na siya ganon ka taas compared mo to digital sales, right? Revolutionary often changed the entire business model, unlocking value for existing and new stakeholders. Ang kagandahan dito sa revolutionary, yung existing na stakeholders, andun pa rin, kasama sila dun sa mag-shift from one to another medium. Unlike dito sa evolutionary, talagang yung nalampasan or yung mga nakaraan is napag-iwanan na talaga. Or, kumbaga, I wouldn't say killing the business, pero the old businesses would have failed, diba? Kagaya nga ng mga yun, mga nagsara na. Okay, that often leads to significant shifts in market dynamics. Some technologies, such as blockchain and AI, are seen as enablers that will fuel many reinventions. So, example, Uber rightfully reinvented the way people provide and use rental car services, impacting both drivers and passengers. Diba? So, dati meron ka lang car rental, pero ngayon, Uber na, ganyan. So, there's the car, there's also the driver. And hindi naman siya kasing, sure. I do feel that revolutionary is better, diba? Kasi yung existing taxi drivers, hindi naman sila nawalan ng trabaho. Kayang-kaya nilang makisabay dun sa shift, diba? From traditional taxi drivers to becoming Uber drivers, diba? Ayan. And then after those things, discuss natin to Michael Porter's 4 corporate strategy types, saka itong red ocean versus blue ocean strategy. Okay? Dito sa Michael Porter's strategy types, merong 2 distinguishing factors in the strategies. Yung una, breadth of market the company wants to cover, also called market focus. Dalawa lang naman, either narrow market, ibig sabihin very specific yung tinatarget mo na customer base or audience or target market. And then kapag broad market, edi yung halos, ang yung customer base is almost everyone, right? And then the second one is a strategic advantage that can be either low cost or unique product, service, or capabilities. Okay, so dito you have your low cost capability. Ibig sabihin, they can drive the prices down and yun yung kanilang magiging advantage. Okay, that they are offering the same products, the same services at a lower price. And then itong second one is having unique product or service capability. let's say, something that only their product can do, or something that only this service provider can provide to the clients. Okay, so itong una, kumbaga combination ito nitong dalawa, no? So yung una, you have your narrow market, very specific customer base, and then you have your low-cost capability. Ito, focus strategy siya. Okay, kasi you have your narrow market. Kung sino lang yung tinatarget mo na market, dun ka lang nakatingin. So in a way, budget-wise, so I think hindi ganun kalaki yung magagastos mo for advertising kasi you're targeting a very specific market. And then you have your broad market, tapos low cost capability. Normally, these are for products na essential siguro, yung tipong halos lahat ng tao kailangan itong product na to, and then you're driving the cost down, right? So, para magkaroon ka ng cost leadership strategy. Okay? The third one, you have your narrow market, specific audience, and then you have unique product or service capability. Ito, focus strategy din siya. Okay? Mapapansin nyo kapag narrow market, yung tina-target. So, focus strategy siya kasi, yun nga, nakafocus ka dun sa particular customer base na yan. Okay? And then, if I'm going to give an example ng product, siguro, narrow market, yung mga tipong high-end consumers for the luxury brands. Okay? Unique product siya kasi, diba, you have your bags or clothes na tipong one of a kind lang siya, or limited edition, or let's say, cars, limited edition model, or car make, ganyan. Okay, so that would be the example for this. And then the last one, broad market, pangkalahatan. Tapos, unique product or service capability. Okay, kahit sinong tao pwedeng maka-avail nito, but of course, with regards to the market or the competition, merong something unique about this product or service. Ito naman, differentiation strategy. Okay? In a way, ito, differentiation strategy, okay lang din na mag-price siya ng much higher kasi you have your unique product naman or service capability. If I'm going to give an example, for example, Apple, right? Broad market, tapos very unique yung kanilang product, right? Apple products. Dito ba sa dalawa, anong maiisip natin dito? Narrow market, low cost capability. Ano nga ba naisip ko dito before? For example, college books, mga physical books, narrow market siya kasi ang tina-target mo lang naman is, let's say, mga college students. Normally, college students lang. Kasi yung elementary, high school, hindi naman ganun ka masyadong required. Hindi ganun masyadong iniisip ang libro na gagamitin or resources na gagamitin kapag nag-aaral. But if you are in college, normally, gumagamit talaga ng libro na specific for the course that you are taking, right? Tapos, low-cost capability, di ba, kapag dito sa atin, local authors, normally, pinipirata. Okay? It's not a good example, but, it's an example for this one. Kasi pag sa recto mo lang siya binili, di ba, mas mura. But of course, I am not encouraging you to do that. As much as possible, buy the original. Support our local authors. Okay? Focus strategy. And then, broad market, low cost capability. Siguro for, mga usual necessities, mga food products, snacks siguro, or things like that. So, broad market kasi, pangkalahatan, lahat naman tayo nagugutom. Or let's say, fast food restaurants, right? Kasi, yun nga, broad market, lahat naman na tao nagugutom kumakain. And then, low-cost capability kasi, they're trying to offer more affordable meals to the people. Yun yung nagiging competition between the fast food restaurant chains. Yung kaya ba nilang pababain yung kanilang prices. So, in a way, that's cost leadership strategy. Okay? These strategies represent a subset of strategies we mentioned earlier, mainly growth strategies, and do not account for strategies targeting maintaining status quo, divestiture, and as seen In many recent examples, reinvention strategies. Okay? So, mainly growth strategies. Ito ang mga nandito. Okay, ito yung last for this video. Red ocean versus blue ocean. Okay, ano ba tong dalawang to? Itong red ocean, ibig sabihin ito yung saturated market. Ano, marami ng competitors, marami ng suppliers or provider ng goods or services. Okay? Kaya siya red kasi, bloody fight for leadership. Masyado ng maraming tao, very populated or saturated yung market. This strategy focuses on existing demand and requires a company to have specific or niche capabilities to differentiate from its competitors, e.g., example, low-cost offering, unique product or service capabilities. The main potential for growth when using this style of strategy comes from redistribution and winning or losing market share, and that can be limited. So, dito, ang kagandahan kasi sa red ocean, existing na, yung market, existing na yung demand. So, what you need to do is to just join the wave or the ocean. Pero, of course, for you to be able to get a share of the market, kailangan mong, in a way, to differentiate yourself pa din. And you do that by either offering lower prices or adding in something dun sa product mo or service, make it unique, okay? And then there is potential for growth. If there are things that can be improved, pwede, go ahead, okay? So, and other types of strategy na pwede dito, you can, redistribute. Pwedeng if the products and services have not been offered online yet, edi ikaw ang mauna. Gawin mong online, ilagay mo sa online shops, ganyan. Allow the customers to order them online, ganyan. Winning and losing market share. So, normally, di ba, you have your existing market. Kapag may new players dun sa red ocean, of course, yung mga dating customers dito sa existing, may mapupunta syempre dito sa new entrants, right? So, it's a matter of winning or losing the market share. Okay. Normally naman, hindi naman lahat nagiging successful pag nagjo-join sila ng red ocean. Kasi minsan, hindi rin makahatak ng customers papunta sa kanila. So, nagfe-fail din. Okay? Kaya nga, it's very important na, magkaroon ka ng some sort of advantage or differentiation from all the others na nag-exist na in the competition. Okay, tapos itong blue ocean naman, ayan. A company chooses to address a new market with an unaddressed demand. Okay, so kumbaga, panibagong product. There is a problem or there is an issue pero wala pang solution provided in the market. Tapos ikaw yung mauuna na magpo-provide ng solution or product or service. Okay, this space does not have significant competition yet and often offers vast opportunities for growth. Kasi nga ikaw yung mauuna. From the development of the product through improvements, edi ikaw ang mauuna. Okay, it can be very promising but also carries a significant uncertainty kasi nga wala pang other successful players, wala pang existing demand. There is an existing demand pero hindi mo pa siya na-validate. Okay? Kasi baka mamaya, na-develop mo na yung product, pero yung mga customers naman, they do not know na nag-exist na pala yung product mo. Or it's also possible they cannot believe na, uy talaga meron ng ganyang product, baka naman di sure or baka man hindi tunay. Ganyan. Okay, so you really have to convince people that, yes, you're already existing, you're addressing a particular problem. Okay? There's this group sa FB, about startup. Tapos, nakakatuwa lang kapag merong nagpo-post na, meron na bang product dito sa Philippines na ganito-ganyan yung ginagawa. Tapos kasi nga, startup, siya yung group ng mga, startup entrepreneurs with the ideas. They bring ideas to the table. Pero yun nga, may mga instances na merong mga ideas na nagka-crop up. Tapos, sa comments makikita mo, ay, meron na yan. Check out mo itong ganitong company, itong app na to, ganyan, ganyan. So, minsan, siguro sa marketing na din or information dissemination, kaya medyo mahirap itong yun yung kahirapan dito sa blue ocean. Making sure that the public knows that you already exist and that you are addressing a particular problem. Okay? So, yun lang for this video. putulin ko dito, tapos next video would be about this. Okay, continuation. All right. So that's it for this one. Thanks and bye.